What's up, guys? Coach Vassar. Thank you so much for joining me here with OTF Audio Daily Beats. As always, if you're new, appreciate you coming in, listening to me to ramble about these workouts. If you find value in them, let me know. Best way, of course, information is in the description to support me. But of course, I love the messages from y'all. Any feedback, give me that heads up. Let me know how I can improve. We are breaking down one of our specialty workouts called the press and squat. This is for Thursday, February 20th. This is pretty much exactly the same as the last time it was ran, which unfortunately I don't remember when that was. This is going to be done as a run row for the 2G, and then for the 3G, it's a tread card, so pretty, member paced over there. But we'll talk about the 2G first, talk about the 3G, and then we'll get you going out of here. So, yeah, we're going to see power on the treads, strength on the rower, and obviously strength on the weight floor. Talking about the key concepts here, we're going to see our signature strength workout, the press and squat. Of course, this is not something that's officially tracked in the challenge tracker or anything like that, but in all honesty, it's the exact same workout. So it's not like a specialty where things kind of change. It's pretty much the same. For the treads, we're going to move through this run row, and the tread distances get shorter, which means your intensity gets higher. On the rower, we have 4 parts, 2 rounds each. You want to establish your distance in the first round of each part, and then try to match or beat it on the second attempt. And then on the floor, it's just 2 movements that we're going to focus on: the chest press and the sumo goblet squat. You want to count your reps to get the most out of this workout. So let's break down treads and rowers. First thing first, make sure you have wipes, set out prior to class. Personally, I would just put wipes on the rowers because that group, they'll wipe down the rower and then they'll head to the weight floor. Then the treads will be using that clean rower. What we're going to see here on the treadmill side, there's a total of 4 parts. Part 1, you have a tread and row that you will do 2 times. Then you'll move to the next part, things change. So in part 1, it's a 1/4 mile push for the joggers and runners. 0.13 if you power walk, at least 5% or greater. It's 1 distance on the old bike, 0.8 on the old Strider. It's going to be like 0.6, I think, for the new bike and the new Strider. It's a push though. And personally, I would do like a more conservative push for this 1/4 mile. Most people will probably take somewhere about 90 seconds to maybe 2.5 minutes. When they're done, they will then go to the rower and they do a 10-stroke push row. Now the goal here is maximum distance, but at the same time, the push is from the leg drive, but we don't want it to eat up too much time. I recommend try to get them in a stroke rate 22 to 24, especially knowing that that's kind of what they used during Orange Everest on the Tuesday prior. So they should be familiar with that if they did come in on that. After their 10 strokes, personally, I would let the water stop. Then they sign out, then they go back up to the treads. Then they're going to repeat that 0.25 push, but the goal is to maintain the intensity. So they're not looking to bump it up. Just maintain what they did the second time. When they go back to the rower, can they match or possibly increase the row distance? Okay. After that, that's it. That's part 1, done. When they go back up to the treads, now we move to part 2. The tread distance will now be 0.2. The intention is to do this at a push all out. So higher incline, higher speed, more wattage on the bike and Strider. So 0.2 for the joggers, runners, 0.1, 6 to 10% incline if they power walk. And of course, bikes and strides have their distance. When they come back to the rower, it is now 15 strokes. So more time rowing, they should obviously get more distance. They'll do that twice. Third part, 0.15 at an all out. Now 0.15, if 6 is their all out speed, that's going to take them about 90 seconds. So that 0.15 all out might be more of a push all out for some people, or it might be a true all out for some people, that if they could do it under a minute, okay? 20 strokes on the rower. They did that 2 times. And then finally, last part, part 4, true all out, 0.1 mile, power walkers 0.05, and then it's a 25 stroke push row. If their stroke rate's 20 to 24, that's going to be just over a minute to maybe about 1:15 on the rower. Go back up to the treads, come back to the rower, and then after that second 25 stroke row, they're done with the rower. So At the very least, hopefully you put wipes back out. That way, once they're done with that second row, they could wipe it all down. They go up to the tread. If there's time left, they will tread until the finisher. The finisher is a 30-second all out. Now, it's not designated specifically where it is. Of course, it just says 30-second all out, power walkers 10% or greater. So ideally, people are back on the treadmill. But if you have anyone on the rower, if they want to stay on the rower, I don't see any harm in that. But if you want to send everyone up to the tread so they could all finish together, by all means, go for it. Okay, 23 minutes to knock that out. Now, weight floor side. This is the star of the show. We are going to see a total of 4 blocks here. Block 1 is the shortest block, and it's a primer. We're going to pick a light weight for them to do about 20 reps of a dumbbell chest press and then 20 reps of a sumo goblet squat. Now with the goblet squat, obviously wider stance, toes are pointed out about 45 degrees, knees are going that direction as well. And with that dumbbell in that goblet position, they're going to feel a lot of work in the core, but also on the inner thigh and the hip recruitment muscles. So like lateral glutes, inner thighs, all that fun stuff. They do both movements only one time, 20 reps, and then if there's any time remaining, they're gonna hit that alternating low side plank and they'll rest as they need. My personal opinion, with this being the primer, the intention is to focus on these movements because as the coach, this is your opportunity to really help members get set up because after this, they are only doing these 2 movements for like the next 15 minutes. So if you could spend a little bit more time to make sure form is on point, awesome, especially because you have that 2-minute setup and you're only talking about 2 movements. So really be intentional with how they should set up, how they should feel, what they should feel in terms of the muscle recruitment, as well as appropriate weight selection. Because it's light, but we don't want to go too light because we want to get that activation. After that, 90-second setup, and then we move into block 2. Now block 2 is all about the chest press. And it's going to be timed rounds. Round 1 is for 2.5 minutes. And then everyone will take a 1-minute recovery. And then the next round from 3:30 until 6 minutes, another 2.5 minutes, they move into round 2. Now the round itself is pretty simple. The first round, we're gonna use a heavier dumbbell. They recommend at least 10 pounds heavier than what they did in block 1. So if they were pressing 15s for 20 reps, let's see if they could do 25-pound dumbbells for their heavy set. Okay, and what we want them to do is do as many reps as possible with good form until they hit that point of fatigue. Let's say they get 8 reps before they start to, gas out. They'll take about a 20-second rest, and then they will continue the rep count from where they ended and keep going. So I did 8 reps, I rest, I lay back, 9, 10, 11, 12, probably get another 6 or 7, rest. Let's say they're at 15 reps at that point, they lay back, 16, 17, 18, so on and so forth. We're looking at the total rep count that they could get for those 2.5 minutes with their heavy weight. They take a full minute to recover, then they're gonna switch to their lighter dumbbell. Maybe this is the same light dumbbell from the block 1, or maybe it's just 5 pounds lighter than their heavier set. So, and then they're gonna do the exact same thing. And the intention is to match the rep count from round 1 and round 2. But the same, thought process applies here. Do as many as they can with good form until point of fatigue, take about 20-second recovery, and then pick up where they left off in terms of the count. That's block 2. Block 3, exact same thing, but now they do that with the sumo goblet squat. So they start with the heavier dumbbell, obviously 10, maybe even 20 pounds heavier since it's just one dumbbell now. Of course, if they need those in-between weights, they could probably do 2 and do like a front rack position. Good way to kind of change it up for them. After they do the heavy set, take a minute rest, and then do the light set. Can they match their total rep count? The 4th block is a bonus block, and it's all about the core. It does have a coach's choice core anchor. So they're gonna alternate between a bicycle crunch, your choice of core movement, a bridge body weight, and then the same coach's choice core anchor. They are all 12 reps each. So personally, pick a core anchor for those 12 reps. Obviously, bicycle crunch, you have some rotational movement. The bridge is some static core work with the hip hinge. So if anything, this might be one where you could do some flexion or maybe counter rotation. So you could do like leg raises. You could do sit up with alternating rotation, or not sit up with rotation, just sit-ups, weighted sit-ups, plank pull-throughs, all great options here. Shoulder taps, keep it simple, but you get to choose what you have them do. And then the finisher is your choice for the final 30. Now this could be the same anchor or it could be something different. And that's it. That's a 2G. 3G, treadmills. Same idea. They have 4 parts. It's the same distances. However, they have a timed walk recovery. So part 1, quarter mile push, 45-second walk recovery, and then repeat. Move to part 2, point 2, 45-second walk recovery, 2 rounds. Point 1.5, 45 walk recovery, 2 rounds. Part 4, point 1, walk recovery, point 1, walk recovery. And they're gonna repeat part 4 until the 30-second finisher, okay? Knowing that the walk recoveries are 45 seconds, that's gonna be at a minimum 6 minutes of the block spent with walk recoveries if they are truly holding themselves accountable for those 45 seconds. So they really only have 8 minutes to get through the actual work before the finisher. So something just to be aware of, opportunity for people to be more on that moderate to aggressive on their push. And then when it's time for those all outs, you know, can you make it like 1-to-1, especially in part 4? Can they make that point 1 all out about 45 seconds or less? So that way they feel that that recovery is adequate so they could keep doing it and maintain. Because obviously they want to maintain or increase the intensity on the repeat round. The rower, very simple here. It's a 600 meter push row followed by forward lunges with the med ball and jack press. They will have 6 rounds of this, and every round the push will decrease. Stroke rates 24 to 26. Knowing that the stroke rate is 24 to 26 in the 3G, if you want to keep that the same in the 2G, you could. But once again, there's no listed stroke rate in the 2G. They'll have 14 minutes for that. Now, the weight floor, slightly different. There is only block 2, block 3 from the 2G. So there is no primer block here. So they're gonna have 2.5 minutes with their heavy weight, get as many reps as possible, 1 minute recovery, 2.5 minutes with their lightweight, as many reps as possible. Then there's a 2-minute floor setup to go over the goblet sumo squat and have them tackle that. So that's just something to kind of be aware of, is there is no bonus primer for the 3G. So really have them be intentional with their dynamic warm-up, especially if it's a group that starts on the weight floor, to really get as much activation in their shoulders, the core, their hips, so that way they are somewhat appropriately okay to lift moderate to heavy for that first group. Obviously, when it comes to the people who did the rower, who did the treads, their body is warm. They just have to have that confidence to grab a heavy dumbbell to go right into it. So anyways, that's it. That's the squat, the press and the squat. I've done this class in the past as you know, just to take it. It is a lot of fun, and you could see quite a bit of volume, and you're gonna see a lot of people who are gonna not feel it on Friday, but Saturday, they're gonna wonder what the hell happened and what hit them, because that DOMS will be hard on the legs if they truly go high rep count. It's gonna be really tight in the shoulders and the pec from the chest press as well. So have fun with that. Anyways, that's all I got for you guys. As always, any feedback, please let me know. Coach it down. You got this.